This map of Dordrecht is dated 1652, but the layout of the old city hasn't changed. Today the main river is used for heavy traffic going up to Rotterdam. There is the basin with the commercial vessels and the main railway bridge over the river Maas. Looking over what is called the New Harbour, this is now a quiet backwater for pleasure craft, surrounded by old mansions and warehouses, some of which are museums. We are starting our trip around the old waterways here, by boat rather than on foot. We come from the main river, the River Maas, into the yacht harbour. Halfway along is this charming passerelle with a view back to the famous Grootekerk. There are several large houseboats. Look at the coot building his nest on the back of that one. At the top of this harbour we go under the Roobrug, which has a road over it, into the wool wearers' harbour. In the Middle Ages, Dordrecht had a monopoly on Dutch imports of wine, salt, timber and wool. This was the main commercial harbour. There are bigger boats here. There are two modern barges, and there some of the older sailing barges with their masts and daggerboards. These 18th century warehouses were built when wine was the main product stored in them. In the 19th century, the sailing ships to some extent gave way to steamships. Here is a beautifully restored example. I expect it is used for tourists nowadays. Approaching the Van Gogh-style lifting bridge, we leave this wool wearers' harbour and come up to the river. We will go round and come into the wine harbour. We've come back through the small lifting bridge into the wine harbour. These are small modern steel motor yachts. You can see the narrow buildings, narrow because river frontage was expensive. Going through this cast iron bridge, the waterway is becoming narrower. There are only smaller boats here. As you will see as we go along this waterway, it is now too narrow to allow boats to tie up. We are going through the heart of the old city now. We pass the rear elevations of buildings that have shop fronts on the other side. Some are very old, but of course some of them have been replaced. They have fallen down through neglect or perhaps war damage. This bridge, the Scheffersplein, has a pavement cafe on top. This is the town hall, a very old building with its clock tower, and there are some 18th century mansions. The boat is just going up the remainder of the harbour past the old houses to complete that short trip round Dordrecht.